Good morning, guys. For today's read aloud, I have Badger's Perfect Garden. And in this story, we're going to learn about how Badger prepares everything to make the perfect garden for that year. And then something happens and things don't go exactly to plan. One spring morning, Red Squirrel found Badger surrounded by dozens of jars. The jars were filled with seeds. The seeds looked hopeful, just like Badger. "What are you doing with all those seeds, Badger?" "Getting ready to plant. I gathered them late last summer and kept them in jars all through the fall and winter. Now I'm going to plant a perfect garden." Look at all these seeds he's collected. Red Squirrel looked closer. They're all different. Yes, all kinds. Green and brown, flat and round, bumpy and smooth, whirly and curly, and straight as my whiskers. "Where did you find them?" "Some from Weasel's garden, some from the wildflowers near Dormouse's house. Some stuck themselves to my fur, and some floated in the wind." "You have so many," said Red Squirrel. "You'll need help planting." So we know you need seeds in order to plant, to grow something. It starts with the seed and then it begins to sprout and then it grows up. But did you know that that seeds are all different and they all come in all different shapes and sizes? Weasel brought his favorite rake. Red Squirrel helped Dormouse gather string. Badger studied his garden plan. "We have to make sure the ground is perfectly smooth," said Badger. Everyone weeded and raked. So they're clearing a spot for the garden. When the earth was as smooth as the forest pond in winter, Badger pushed his sticks into the dirt. Red Squirrel and Dormouse stretched string between the sticks to mark rows. "Be sure the rows are perfectly straight," said Badger. Weasel found a twig to make holes for the seeds. "Bumpy seeds in this row, round ones here. Keep the whirlies together," Badger directed. So you can see how they made lines and rows, and now they're using a stick to make a little hole in each spot. Then they'll drop a seed into each hole and gently cover it up. When the seeds were planted, Badger invited his friends to a celebration. Everyone enjoyed muffins and mulberry juice. Badger imagined the plants that would grow in perfect rows in his perfect garden. The next day, the sky sent showers. Badger smiled. Why do you think Badger would smile? Because it was raining. What do plants need to grow? He planted the seeds in the dirt. We know they need dirt, but they also need water. So some gentle showers are watering the garden. Oh, but the day after that, the sky sent heavy rain, and Badger worried. The day after that, and the day after that, it sent a downpour. Badger grabbed his umbrella and rushed outside. He ran up and down the rows, trying to cover his seeds. The rain kept pouring. Badger flung himself across the rows, doing his best to hold the earth together. Sticks and strings collapsed, and the ground began to slide. Ah! So the rain turned into a really heavy storm, and it looks to me like it's very windy. I can see that the rain is falling down at a slant and the trees are blowing over. What's going to happen to his garden? Red Squirrel, Dormouse, and Weasel came running. "My beautiful seeds have washed away," Badger sniffled. Seeds will float on the wind again when the sunniest days come, comforted Red Squirrel. After the wild flowers bloom, there'll be seeds to collect, said Dormouse. We can gather seeds when my vegetables ripen, said Weasel. Collecting seeds is hard work, and besides, I'll have no perfect garden this summer, said Badger. Badger could not be consoled. He stayed in his house, busying himself with this and that. So the word consoled means that nobody could help him feel better. He was so disappointed about his garden. He's trying to take his mind off of how sad he is. So what are some of the things he tries? Napping, yoga, reading, sitting on his chair in a silly place, cleaning, and art. But one summer day, in the middle of his afternoon nap, Badger heard a clamoring at his door. Badger, come look, cried Red Squirrel, Dormouse, and Weasel. Your seeds found another place to grow. These can't be my seeds, said Badger, rubbing his eyes. They're all mixed up. They just rearranged themselves, said Red Squirrel. If you hadn't planted them over there, they wouldn't be over here. How did the seeds get all mixed up and planted far away from the garden? How did this happen? Was it the wind from the storm carried the seeds, jumbled them all up, and then dropped them on the ground a little bit a ways? Badger stared at the hodgepodge of colors, the jumble-tumble of shapes and sizes. They made him feel jumbly and tumbly too. It looks like a celebration. It is the most perfect garden of all. Because the friends love celebrations, they ran into the garden for a hodgepodge of garden games, jumbly-tumbly dancing, and muffins and mulberry juice. The end. So, one of the things we know is that you need seeds to grow plants. Now, you actually collect those seeds from the plants you want to grow. So, gardeners, if they're growing peas or carrots or tomatoes or cucumbers, will collect the seeds from their plants before they pick them. And those seeds they can save, and they can plant them next year and have more plants grow, right? You can do this too. Next time you're eating some food, you can explore it a little bit. Look inside your cucumber from the grocery store and see if you can find some cucumber seeds, or your tomatoes and see if you can find the seeds, or your blueberries or strawberries, or your apples. Okay, compare the seeds. You can see which ones are big, which ones are little, which ones are flat or round or smooth or bumpy. Okay, so check it out and see if you can find some seeds in your food.